Mature women don't chase attention. They quietly eliminate men. And most of those men have no idea when it happened. Because the real test isn't what you say, it's how you react when you feel pressure. By the time you notice the shift, she's already decided. Mature women don't test you the way younger women do. They don't play obvious games. They don't ask for validation. They observe. Quietly. Carefully. And the moment you think everything is going well, that's usually the moment she's already decided who you are. Because emotional strength isn't proven when things are easy. It's revealed in small, almost invisible moments most men don't even notice. And here's the uncomfortable truth. You're probably being tested right now, and failing, without realizing it. So the real question is, how many chances have you already lost simply because you didn't see the test?
In this video, we're going to break down the subtle ways mature women test your emotional strength, not through manipulation, but through observation. You'll learn what these moments actually mean, why they matter psychologically, and most importantly, how to respond in a way that builds respect instead of losing it. This isn't about playing games. It's about understanding human behavior at a deeper level. Because emotionally intelligent women don't look for perfection, they look for stability. And psychology consistently shows that attraction, especially long-term attraction, is built less on what you say and more on how you regulate yourself under pressure. So if you've ever felt like things were going well and then suddenly changed, this will explain why. You're having a good conversation, everything flows. Then suddenly, she says something slightly provocative. Maybe she teases you. Maybe she challenges your opinion. Nothing extreme, just enough to create friction. Most men react instantly. They defend. They justify. They try to win the moment. But psychologically, this is what's happening. She's observing your emotional regulation. This ties into a concept called reactivity. High reactivity signals insecurity. Low reactivity signals stability. A mature woman isn't impressed by how quickly you respond. She's watching how calmly you process. The mistake? Taking it personally. The move? Stay grounded. Smile. Respond. Don't react. Sometimes the strongest response is not rushing to defend yourself at all. Because when you don't get pulled into emotional spikes, you communicate something powerful without saying it. You're steady, and that's rare. Which leads to the next test. You make plans. She cancels last minute, or she pushes your schedule slightly. Not dramatically, just enough to see what you'll tolerate. Most men fall into two extremes. They either become overly accommodating or overly rigid. But this moment isn't about logistics. It's about boundaries. From a psychological standpoint, boundaries reflect self-worth. If you bend too easily, you signal scarcity. If you overreact, you signal fragility. A mature woman isn't looking for control. She's looking for consistency. So, what do? You stay calm. You adjust, but not at the cost of your priorities. You communicate clearly without emotional charge. Hey, no problem, but I'll have to reschedule for another time. Simple. Grounded, respectful, no neediness, no punishment. Because boundaries aren't about controlling her behavior. They're about showing you value your own time. And when that's clear, respect follows naturally. But then comes a more subtle one. You send a message. She doesn't reply for hours. Maybe longer. Nothing dramatic. No explanation. Just silence. Now watch what happens internally. Most men start spiraling. They double text. They overthink. They try to regain control. But silence isn't always disinterest. Sometimes it's observation. She's watching how you handle uncertainty. This connects to attachment theory. Anxious responses, like chasing or over-communicating, signal emotional dependency. Secure responses signal self-sufficiency. So, what's the right move? You don't chase clarity. You return to your life. You let the silence exist, without trying to fill it. Because emotional strength isn't shown by how you hold attention. It's shown by how you handle its absence. And this is where most men lose the frame completely. Here's something most people don't realize. A mature woman can lose attraction for you without you doing anything wrong. It's not about mistakes. It's about patterns, small signals, repeated over time. So the question isn't, did I mess up? It's, what did my behavior communicate without me noticing? She opens up, not fully, but enough to share something personal. Maybe stress, maybe frustration, maybe something from her past. Now this is critical. Most men try to fix it. They offer solutions, advice, logic. But that's not what she's measuring. She's observing your emotional presence. This ties into emotional attunement, the ability to sit with someone's emotions without trying to control them. When you rush to fix, you unintentionally signal discomfort, like you need the emotion to go away. But when you listen, when you stay grounded, you create safety. And safety is the foundation of deeper attraction. So instead of solving, acknowledge. I get why that would feel like that. Simple, human, present. Because emotional strength isn't about having answers. It's about being able to hold space. And very few men can actually do that. Which brings us deeper. Everything is going well. But she pulls back slightly. Less texting. Less availability. Not rejection. Just distance. This is where many men panic. They lean in harder. They try to win her back. But this test is about one thing. Do you have a life outside of her? Psychologically, attraction thrives on autonomy. When your focus collapses entirely onto her, you create pressure. And pressure kills attraction. So what's the response? You don't chase the distance. You respect it. You stay engaged in your own life. Because when you remain centered, you communicate abundance, not arrogance, not detachment, just grounded independence. And that's deeply attractive. But there's one final test, and it's the one most men completely misunderstand. At the beginning, everything is easy. You're calm, confident, present. But over time, small cracks appear. You get more reactive, more uncertain, less consistent. And this is where the real test happens. Because anyone can perform for a short period. But emotional strength isn't about moments, it's about patterns. This aligns with the principle of behavioral consistency. People trust what they can predict. So she's not asking, can he be strong? She's asking, is this who he actually is? And if your behavior shifts under pressure, the answer becomes clear. So the real work? Not impressing her temporarily, but becoming someone who is naturally stable over time. Because that's what builds lasting respect. Here's the deeper truth most men never hear. These tests aren't traps. They're filters. A mature woman isn't trying to make you fail. She's trying to understand if you're safe to invest in, emotionally, mentally, long-term. Because she's already learned what happens when she ignores these signals, so she pays attention, not to your words, but to your patterns. And if you feel like you've been tested and lost, it's not because you weren't good enough. It's because your behavior didn't align with emotional stability. And the good news, that's something you can build, not by pretending, but by becoming more aware of yourself. Because at the end of the day, the strongest position you can be in is not trying to pass the test. It's not needing to. If this resonated with you, then you've probably experienced at least one of these moments and didn't even realize it at the time. So I'm curious, which of these tests do you think you've failed before? And what did you do in that moment? Drop it in the comments. Because awareness is where this starts. And in the next video, we're going to break down something even deeper. The subtle behaviors that make a woman feel emotionally safe with you, without you saying a word. Because once you understand that, everything changes.